What I suggest, and which I didn't do back in the days, you need some help. My worst defect was I couldn't delegate. I was like, no, if I don't do it myself, it's not going to be done the way I want.
This is the Deep in the Weeds podcast. I'm Anthony Huckstep. Today, we're talking about building something from nothing with pure hustle and a clear vision. Our guest, Mathieu Bourget, is the founder of Il Locale Pizza, a fast-growing independent brand that started in the backstreets of Perth. Matt, how are you?
Good. How are you today?
Good. It's great to get you on the show. You've got a bustling brand over there that's sort of making waves. How are things at the moment?
Yeah, pretty good. Thanks for having me in the show. Everything is so far so good. Not the best time of the year regarding the weather. So, as a takeaway, business model is not ideal, but we're doing good. Can't complain, to be honest.
Tell us a little bit about the business at the moment and the size of it. How many sites do you have at the moment?
So, as Il Locale, we've got six shops. So we opened the first one 4.5 years ago in Scarborough. Then we've opened the last one in Karamunda a month ago.
Wow. So 6 is quite a lot to manage at once. How long did it take you to scale, sort of move from 1 to 2, let alone go to 6? Was that the biggest step for you?
Yeah. So basically, I've opened Il Locale with a mate. So we were both business partner. And we struggle both French, so nothing to deal with Italian food industry. So that was hard for us to be trusted by the Italian community, especially the pizza chef. Because what happened is myself or my old business partner, we didn't know how to make a pizza. So basically we were a stage of our own business because the guys were coming in and say like, nah, you're going to fail or you need to do this, and I want that much money. And we're like, okay, how are we going to deal with that? So then it was a bit of a struggle at the beginning. So my business partner decided to leave the venture. So I bought him out. And then when I bought him out, so straight after 1 year of opening, so it's been 3.5 years that I'm on my own. After another year where I decided to build the brand, change a few things here and there, that's when we opened the second location in Subiaco. That was a big step for me because I wanted to get consistency. So basically what we were doing is producing everything in one shop, had to manage the delivery between the shops, the roster, double up the size of the business. It was now the last one we've opened was easy. It was like, then we're opening tomorrow. That's fine. It's coming easy, if I would say. But the second one, the amount of stress I've been through was out of control.
You've had very incredible growth in the last couple of years. Just tell us a bit about the offering and what's special about the pizzas that you're doing.
So we are specialized in Napolitan style pizza. So, with the one with the big crust and very thin in the middle. And then we are doing pizzas and only pizzas. So we didn't want to go through, we're going to add like gnocchis and pastas and arancinis, because we just want to focus only making what we know what we're doing. And also it's very easier for the staff to control that. Because when you've got like a 1 million products, it's harder for the team in terms of orderings. Like we take away based in terms of business model. So if you start to make like 40, 20 or whatever different dishes, then it's getting hard to control and to have a quality. Because what's happening is people ordering the pizza in the shop, then 95% of the time they're taking away the food and then they're going to eat wherever they want. That could be in a party, that could be at the beach, that could be in the park, that could be in the car, that could be pretty much anywhere. That's why we decided to focus only on the pizza. And also what's good with the pizza, you've got one base and you change the toppings. So in the end, you've got one product. We're selling just only one product with the different variations.
It's the sort of pizza that kind of doesn't like to be taken away or in travel boxes. It's the sort of pizza that likes to be eaten at a venue straight out of the oven. How do you deal with that?
So most of the Napolitan pizza, you will have a dough. The weight of the dough will be like 270, 275 grams. Ours are 300 plus. So we've got more 300 grams. So that means there is more dough. That means we can control way more the thickness of the pizza. So they will be a little bit thicker than the proper one that you'll find in Napoli that you have to eat in the restaurant. Otherwise, that's not gonna travel. So we find this, the way we manage to do this is to increase the amount of dough and also to work with Marana, so which is the big commercial oven that's wood and gas powered. And the stone of the Marana cook the base perfectly, meaning the traveling of the pizza is way, way easier.
How long did it take you to land on getting that dough exactly right for that purpose?
After I would say it was hard at the beginning because every single chef that was coming into the shop, because I had no knowledge of the dough, they were like, "Nah, you're doing wrong. I gotta show you how to do it." So they would keep changing the recipe every single time. So it was hard to keep consistency. And from chef A, B, or C, you could have 3 different dough. So since 2 years, we have Fede, our head of operation, that's in charge of the consistency, obviously, and all the quality control. And that's what he's doing now. His job is just to make sure that everything runs smoothly, and the quality and the consistency of the product is amazing. So we're producing everything in our main warehouse kitchen. Then we send everything to the shops. So if you go to Busselton, Currambine, Kalamunda, you'll have the same product.
Well, I want to explore how you've grown your business and how you introduce scale into a business like that and be successful. But first of all, I want to go back. You mentioned that you're French. Tell us about where you grew up and the sort of role that food played for you growing up.
So I'm born in Caen, so north of France, not far from the UK, basically, by boat. Then I've moved to Marseille, which is south of France, when I was 16, probably. Just like my parents, like, were moving between jobs. My relation with the food is a bit. My mom never cooked, so basically, it was like ready to go pizza, ready to go. Like everything in the microwave, everything. Yeah, my mom, and when she's gonna see that, she'll agree with that. She hates cooking, and she never cooked for us. She was very, very busy with work, so we ending up with my brother most of the time, like grabbing stuff from the fridge, like the wheel sausages, we call that knaki in France, and like open them, put some cheese inside, put it in the microwave, and that was a dinner. But then when I go to my grandma, then we have the best dishes ever on earth, because she's born in Germany, and she's got that love of cooking. So that was like a complete different opposite. Like grandma, the best prepared meal that it was just like a fest, and at home, it was like open the plastic, put on plate, microwave. So that's how I've grown up.
Tell us a little bit about your grandma. Is there a dish or two that you remember that you can share with us?
Yes, the one it's so hard to do is the Knäpsch. So Knäpsch is like a German dish made out of potatoes and flour and cheese. It's a German dish it's just, I don't know. I love potatoes. I love potatoes. It's my favorite dish. And then the way she make it, my dad, my partner, they try to make it as she does. She's still with us. So when I go see her, this is the one I have. No one can make the same as she does, because she's too good with that. And second one, I like my other grandma. What she used to do, it was more like a chicken. She was doing a chicken roast, and the second day, like with the leftover chicken, she would pull out all the meat, and she would cook that with pasta with a sauce inside the oven, and that was just amazing. So it's, two different kind of things, but that was my favorite dish when I was I would remember for my life, basically.
Tell us about early days with your career. What direction did you go before this world of pizza?
So in France, I used to study Sparky. So I used to be electrician by not trade, but by study. When I left school, school was not for me, or I was not for school. One or the other, you pick. So when I got my diploma, I left Marseille to go to Switzerland. So I was working as in a luxury hotel. I was like carrying luggage, bringing people to the airport, doing a bit of everything, fixing the bikes. Then travel to Brazil a little bit, travel to the States. And when I got back to France, I was like, okay, I need to work. Like I need to get a proper job. So I went to work as a Sparky for like a year or so. And then realized that that was not for me, like very hot in summer, very cold in winter. I hated it basically. So I managed to be selling alarms. So a security system.
Wow. Yeah.
Just knocking on the door and just like, hey, this is very, very dangerous, suburb. You need to get an alarm. So that was my next job. I did that for 4 years. Managed to get 3 teams under my control, under my management. And then after this one, I had like a bit of a beef with my boss. So I left the job, went into financial advising. So I was a financial advisor. I've learned everything on the job for I would say 3 years again. Then I left to Australia. So when I came to Australia, no money, couldn't speak English at all whatsoever, and just worked as a bartender. So like cleaning the crew room, like a bricky laborer, just to do a bit of job here and there to get few coins so we can pay the rent. And step by step, I went deep down into the hospitality industry. So bartender, then like a area manager, but behind the bar. So you manage one glassy and you've got like 2 bartenders under you. Then step by step, become a bar manager, event manager. Then my boss at the time bought like a big hotel with a live music venue. So I was the GM of this venue for 3 years. And then when my PR got granted, I was like, okay, this is the time for me to do my own stuff now.
Tell us about the decision to come to Australia and Perth. What made you come out here?
So we went to Brazil 6 months before for a wedding, because we used to live in Brazil for a while. And then when we got back with my partner, I remember I was having a shower and she just rushed into the bathroom, into the bathroom. It was like, let's go to Australia. So like, sorry, what you're talking about? So like, I said, why Australia so random? And she was like, we don't speak English. We don't want to be in France. We hate our job. We hate our life right now. Let's try something. So it took us 3 to 4 months to pack up everything, resign the job, just try to save a bit of money. And then we just grabbed the tickets. And then the plan was to stay 3 months, because we didn't have any money. We came here with 500 euros each. So it was like really nothing. And the plan was to stay 3 months. We were like, oh, if we stay 3 months, that's a big win for us. It's been 11 years.
Wow, that's incredible. Well, were you surprised by Australia when you first got here? What was it like for you?
I thought I was speaking English. That is different English. So for me, Australia. So we came in Australia in November. So everyone was like talking about Australia is like nice weather. And yes, it was perfect. The weather was great. It was safe. Like the comparison between France and Australia, we were like in shock in a very good way. Like that's why we're still in Perth. That's why we're still in Australia. We love Australia like so much. The most difficult part was the communication. Like I thought I was speaking a little bit of English. I literally didn't speak English whatsoever. So to be in the desk, like people that can understand me, this is the first time I face racism. Like, I never faced racism in Europe. The way sometimes that people were talking to me, or like, oh, you F French, it was, that was sometimes, okay, I don't understand why. Like, I don't speak English very well. This is not my trade. I'm trying to learn. I'm a hard worker. Just, give me my chance. But then disappeared very, very quick. And why Perth? The reason is all the backpacker they were going on the East Coast. So we're like, oh, it's going to be a bit jammed. Let's go to Perth. And I knew a couple that were living in Perth. They were studying in Perth. So we went to their flat for 2 or 3 nights, just to settle down. And then that's the reason we came to Perth, and we stay in Perth actually.
You mentioned, like slowly getting into hospitality and then building your career through different venues and different roles. Tell us about that period of time when you decided, okay, I'm ready to do my own thing. How did you land on what that was? And tell us about that time.
So pizza is my favorite food. So I was like, I want to have a pizza shop. My first plan was to have like, with the little Gosni oven at the back of the house, do just for neighborhood. That was my plan. Then I realized that the amount of license and this you need in Australia is not. In France, you can do that in one night. You just set up your little shop and you call all your neighbors like, oh, tonight pizzas. So when I got my PR, I was doing motorbike, like motorcycle MX, with a French guy, Ben, and we're like, oh, let's have some beers, like in 2 or 3 days. So we had some beers, and I was like, geez, I really want to do a pizza shop. And he was like, are you kidding? I want to do the exact same thing. So him and myself, no clue whatsoever how to just the setup of the shop or any contact or how to build a pizza oven. Are we buying one? Are we building one in house? What fridge? How this works? So we had no clue whatsoever. And if I had to do it again, I would do way different, to be honest with you. We've learned so much down the track. And that's how we started Il Locale. Basically, it was just like a little random small shop in the back street of Scarborough, without any famous brand potential or anything like this. We had like old guy, I can't remember his name. He built the oven for us. I had to smash down the oven after a year because all the bricks were like this. So the chefs, like out of 10 chefs, I would say 1, if not less, could cook a pizza properly in this oven. So half of them were broken. The temperature, we couldn't keep up the temperature. It was such a nightmare at first.
Tell us about that period of time. Is there any sort of standout story for you about the challenges of getting that business up and running?
Yes, it was more about the trust again. Like finding the place, it was easy because I was, that COVID kind of thing. It was very hard, for people to start a venture with it. So we had like so many empty places. So we went into the Scarborough one. This is the perfect place for us. So we found this one very easy. I had to sell my car to open the first business, obviously to get some cash because no one would lend us any money. But that was not a big deal. Then we built the shop ourselves. So we actually did everything, like all the tiles, like brickwork, everything on our own because we would save as much as we could. Then when we were ready, the hardest part came in: how we make a dough, what ingredients, what menu, what price, what machines do we need? So the actual proper things to operate the business. So we got in touch with, now he's the mate, Andrea, which is doing pizza consulting. And it was like, okay, guys, this is a good setup. So you manage well between the distance between the oven and the bench and the cutting section, which is great. Now I'm going to show you how to make a dough. But this guy, Andrea, was just here as a consulting. So he was basically our lifesaver for 2 weeks. But then after he was gone, what's the plan? How are we going to recruit a chef? We don't speak Italian. As I say, they was not scared, but like they didn't trust us. Are you guys gonna fail? I'm not gonna leave my job. I've got a full time. I've got hours. I know what I'm doing. For you guys, you don't know what to do. So basically, after probably 3 or 4 weeks, we had to shut the door for 1 week because we couldn't get any chef. That was the hardest part. And everyone was like, "Oh, they opened for 1 month. They're already done," because no one would work for us. No one would work for us because of the trust. And then one day, that's not a funny side, but basically the problem I had at this time is the chefs. They were in charge. Basically, they had a gun on my head. It was like, I want that much money. I want you to do this. I want my Sunday off. I don't want to do this. And what they were doing, they were like, if I leave, you have to shut the door. So is that a yes? And that was a yes. I used to pay one chef. We're talking about three years ago, $120,000, working 36 hours a week. Yeah, net. Okay, so that was how deep down into it's a big trouble for us. But I knew doing this that would get me time to learn how to make dough, to get the trust, how to cook pizza, how to be fully involved, hands-on. So the role will be swapped and switched. So that's mean, okay, now I know how to make a pizza. That's cool. Now I know how to make a dough. Then I bought the best equipment to help me out as well.
Tell us a little bit about the product and the operations. You mentioned a bit earlier about that moment when you moved from one to two businesses, but did you have to change the product and the operations for scale?
We didn't have to change the product. So what was very important is to keep the exact same menu and the setup from Scarborough to Subiaco. So this way, the chefs, the staff, they could work from any shops without being disturbed. And that was very important for me. It was like, okay, I'm going to do my own McDonald's. I want to do my own. It's copy and paste in terms of design, in terms of everything. So basically what we did, we just doubled up the production. So instead of doing, 1,300 dough a week, then we're doing 26. Then I was working with a transport company, so they would pick up every 3 days all the ingredients from Scarborough and get them delivered to Subiaco. So that was quite easy for us at start. Then when we scaled to 3 shops, then we had to get our own van, like organizing our own transport, because the more you grow, the more delivery, the bigger you're getting. So we had to get our own system in place. But from 1 to 2, the hardest point for me was I was still managing every single person working with us. So if a staff were like, sorry, I'm sick, I cannot come, or I need to do this and this, I was the one that was dealing with everything. And that was quite hard. I've got 2 kids. I remember my second one, so he's 3 years old, so he's just born when I took everything on my own. So having a newborn and dealing with all the things, I've got the best partner for that. She's working in the shadow, but without her, nothing would have happened whatsoever.
Talk to me about scale, about going from 1 to 6 venues. How do you choose the location, and how do you pull it together and make sure that you make a success of having so many venues?
So we're lucky enough. I've worked so much on the brand that we've got people that contacting me to set up a shop in their portfolio. So they've got many venues to rent, and they're contacting me. So basically, I've got the luxury of pick and choose where we can go. We've got 2 on waiting lists, one in Geraldton and one in Safety Bay. Those guys came to me okay, can you please guys come to this venue because we want you to be there. Then we do a bit of research, and this is the way we're getting the venues. We're gonna scale into the franchise business model, and for us, we will be able to pick the venue for the franchisee if they cannot pick the venue. So it's going to be very important for us. So at the moment, we're not chasing any venue. The venue are coming to us.
Tell us a little bit about pizza. What is it that you love about pizza? And is there one that's on the menu that really stands out for you that you can tell us about?
There is one that's my favorite one, and that's why I called her Il Locale. So Il Locale, it's a white base. You've got roasted potatoes, you've got red onions, you've got Italian sausages, Parmigiano, and basil. There is one in France that we do the same with a cheese called Reblochon, and it's very powerful, tasteful cheese. And this is potatoes and pizza. Many of people were like, "Oh, are you sure? Like, it doesn't seem right." This is what I love, and then that's why I call it Il Locale, because this is the face of the brand. So this is the one I love the most. Other than that, we've got probably, it depends with the special. We've got like 17, 18 pizza on the menu. So we didn't want to go full like 40 pizza. And there's reasons behind this. But we keep the pizzas and the menu very traditional. So you've got a capricciosa, which is like a very, very popular pizza, which that would be kind of the supreme, if you want to call that the as Australian standard, with a bit of everything on it. We don't have any chicken as well, because we used to have chicken pizza. And the main reason was the storage, the cooking, the smell. And my job is to make sure that every single job is as easy as we can for the staff, with a great quality product in the end. So what I find out as well is, if you've got 45 pizza on the menu with 100 ingredients, or if you've got 20 pizzas with 50 ingredients, you cut the ordering, the storage, the prep, you cut by half, if not more. But your customer, they will spend the exact same amount of money. And so that's when you make the life of your staff way easier, and you're going to get the same amount of money. And that's what I've learned from my used to be mentor, Marcus, when I've learned a lot of things in the hospitality. The rep for the beer rep, they were coming to me, is like, this beer is amazing, you need to have this cake on top, like people are going to go crazy for. And I was going to my boss, is like, Marcus, we need this beer. This is amazing. It's like, okay, what the price of a cake? $500. Okay. What the price of like normal beer, like a Swanee or whatever? $250. Okay, so it's half the price. It's like 100% more. I say, yeah, you're right. But the customer, when they hear for a gig, they're still gonna drink, right? I say, yeah, you're right. So that's when your margin, your profit will be way less, because they're still gonna spend the same amount of money. So I've realized all those kind of things with him, and it was actually like, that was amazing. It teach me so much in terms of the balance between the customer experience and the staff well-being in this industry.
Hospitality businesses are renowned for having very low margins. Your experience as a financial planner, does that come in handy with what you do? Not really. It was more about organizing like the finance that people had and getting ready when they would retire. And that was more about planning in advance. What's your situation at this day, and what's going to be in 10 years, or if you've got any family issues, what's going to happen. What I found out here, which I think this is a massive issue for the industry, the partners like Uber, Eat Club, we have to work with these guys. We have to. There's no other option. Okay, but the thing is, the margin on those platforms is sometimes nil. When I'm saying nil, sometimes you're going to sell 300-400 pizza and you're going to make zero money. Literally 0 cents. You've got some, just to stand, people are going to use Eat Club, okay? Or they're going to use Uber. If you want to stand out from the competition, you have to get either higher discounts, so you'll sit on top of the list. And that's what we did a bit of study, which is not study, a bit of a test. Let's say with Eat Club. I like Eat Club, the great guy. It's more about how people consuming through these apps. So we did a 30% discount, okay? And then we got the trades, okay, normal. Then we dropped to 25% discounts. Basically on the app, they're going to showcase where their customer will save the most. So you drop down very, very, very low, okay? And I was like, geez, okay, we have to work with them, because per week it's a good turnover, okay? It's a good money, and we have to, because otherwise the customer will spend the money in the different shop. So what I said to my team is like, we're going to do something. We're going to do 40% discount. They were like, you're crazy. What we had to do, in line with Eat Club, everyone is aware, we've increased the price on Eat Club. So basically the 40% discount, we're actually getting more money than a 30% discount. But we're on top of the list. So that's the only way you can make money, but still being on top of the list, is you have to increase. We are launching something very, very, very new in 2 weeks. I don't know when this podcast will be released, but we're gonna launch
something that's will make some noise. We're going to call that the $22 club. So what we're going to do, people are struggling. Okay, people are struggling. The trade is good, but people are really struggling to get products. And I went to IGA when I got back from Europe last week. I spent $100. My basket there's nothing in there. I was like, geez, I'm spending $100. I've got a bit of meat, one pack of cereals, few veggies, $100. I was like, okay, this is wrong. So in 3 weeks' time, we haven't decided the release date. All the pizzas, 100% of the menu will be at $22. Yes. And the main reason is all the price on Uber Eat Club, everything will stay the same. So we've got some pizza price at $32 on Uber on Eat Club. Those pizzas will still be the same. So people will pay way more money on the platforms than they will spend in shop. The reason is I want to get all this straight through the shop. I'm spending so much money on the branding, on the look of the shop. I don't want people to be sitting in the couch and then blame us because the Uber driver took 35, 40 minutes to get the food because they had to stop in 3 different shops because Uber allowing them to do this. So it's not like I'm not a rebellious guy. I don't want to be against anyone at all. I want to try to change people's habits, how they're consuming the product. So that's what we're going to do this. It's, I've got many people say like, you're crazy. I know what I'm doing.
Do you have any advice for operators out there that are looking to scale their operations? Are there smart ways on your experience that you could share on how to scale smarter?
It's going to be 3 times harder than it is right now if you've got one shop. The reason is you'll have to deal with what you're dealing with at the moment, plus all the extra work. So you're going to deal with the city, like all the paperwork, then the builders, then a lot of little things that's going to come on top of what you're doing at the moment. What I suggest, and which I didn't do back in the days, you need some help. My worst defect was I couldn't delegate. I was like, no, if I don't do it myself, it's not going to be done the way I want. Now I've got the team, I've got a strong team. They're doing probably 75, 80% of the way I was doing it, but it's still, it's amazing. So that saved me a lot of time and I can focus on the other operation side of the business. So what I would suggest is get someone that will stick with you. And if you say, okay, can you do this for me? Can you do this? Because I can, because I've got this to do. It's never going to be done the exact way you want. But if it's even 75%, trust me, it's amazing. But what you have to keep in mind is if you don't trust in yourself, no one will do for you. No one will do for you.
Well, it's an amazing pizza brand that you're building over there in WA. What do you love about what you do? Being a business owner, I can manage my time however I want. So my what I'm proud of is I can do whatever I want, whenever I want. And this is, as a family, this is amazing. I can drop my kids to school every single day. I can pick them up from school. So I've got that freedom of doing my kind of own life. What I like to do with Il Locale is I've started something from the ground, from nothing. Like the name didn't exist 3.5 years ago because it was existing, but that was different, to something that we are raising $2 million in seed funds to develop the franchise business model. So basically, this is what I love is not the fame. It's not about the fame at all. Is seeing me being able to build something from scratch onto something that's I'm hoping will be the next pizza movement in Australia. Well, it's incredible what you've done so far and look forward to seeing what you do next. Absolute honour to have you on Deep in the Weeds today. Please keep in touch and we'll catch up again soon. Cheers. This is the Deep in the Weeds podcast. I'm Anthony Huckstep. Stay tuned as we take a deep dive into the lives of the incredible people who ply their trade in the food and hospitality sector. Special thanks to executive producer Rob Locke for making this all happen. Follow us on Instagram at Deep in the Weeds Podcast, or email us at podcast@deepintheweeds.com.au. Thanks to executive producer Rob Locke for making this all happen. Stay safe and be well.